Hello, today we're going to be reading Utterly Me by Clarence Bean. So if you don't have the Read It Loud book because it costs money and you don't... Okay, I'm going to start speaking in my British accent, I'm sorry. If you don't have the book, today is the day you get to read Chapter 1 on Utterly Me, Clarence Bean. Chapter 1. This is me, Clarence Bean. I am not an only child, but sometimes I wish I was. My family is 6 people, which is sometimes too many. Not always, just sometimes. My dad is mostly in an office on the phone going, "I can't talk now, I'm up to my ears in it." Mom is always gripping about pants on the floor and shoes on the sofa. She says, "This house doesn't clean itself, you know." Who do you think does everything around here? Mr. Nobody? I don't get paid to pick up your smelly socks. If I did, I'd be a rich woman, etc., non-stop. I am the 3rd oldest, and I think it would have been a good idea if I was the youngest, too. I am not quite sure why my mom and dad wanted to have more children after me. They don't need another one, and it's a shame they don't, because he is spoiling it for everyone else. Okay. He is called Minnow Cricket, and he tends to be utterly a nuisance. He's a nonstop whining and causing other people to get themselves in trouble. You might think it would be a relief to come to school, but if you do, then obviously you don't know some of the people in my class. Naming no names, Grace Scribblou. What a show-off. Grace Scribblou. Sometimes I stare boredly into space, thinking utterly of nothing. This makes Mr. Wilberts very irritated. I get on her nerves. I know this because she is always telling me I do. To be honest, Mrs. Wilberton is not my favorite person on the planet Earth. Unfortunately, I am from Earth and she is my teacher. Mrs. Wilberton says I have got utterly not a speck of concentration. I'm trying to prove her wrong about this by trying to remember to concentrate. I think about it all the time. I am so desperately trying not concentrate, and I say to myself, don't drift off like you did yesterday. And then I start thinking about how I drifted off yesterday, and how I was thinking I must listen to Mrs. Wilberton and all the things she is telling me. And then I am wondering, how does all the stuff she is telling me fit into my head? And then I am wondering if I should have a clear out of the stuff I don't need anymore. You know, like my dad cleared out the attic, except we all decided we needed everything, and he just had to put it all back in again. But maybe valuable space is being taken up in my head with not the important things, and that is why I can't concentrate, because all my concentration space has been used up on other things like elbows off the table and don't pinch your brother, and pointless, not needed things that don't matter. Clarence Bean, will you please come back down to earth this instant? It's Mrs. Wilberton. You can tell by her honking goose voice. She says, Clarence Bean, you are utterly lacking in the concentration department. A common housefly has got more ability to apply itself. And I want to say, you are utterly lacking in the manners department, Mrs. Wilburton, and a rhinoceros has got more politeness than you. But I don't say it because Mrs. Wilburton is allowed to say rude things about me, and I am not allowed to say them back. Those are the rules of school. Then Mrs. Wilburton says, Class, I am announcing the very exciting subject of this year's Parents' Night competition. Mrs. Wilburton doesn't look one bit excited, but I think it would take an elephant running into the classroom, waving its arms around to get Mrs. Wilburton hopping. Anyway, everybody must pair up and think of an exhibit that they would like to put together and have one show for when all the parents trapeze in to see just what their little darlings have come up to. Of course, me and Betty Moody are a pair because we are utterly best friends. Mrs. Wilburton says the project must be based on a book that we have read and learned something from. It sounds utterly dreary to me. When I get home, I go straight upstairs to Mom's closet. I take a mini cheese with me because they are my favorite things at the moment. And you never know when you might want something to nibble. Mom's closet is a good place to be on your own by yourself, and it's where I like to read my book. You need a flashlight, and it is lucky that I got one for Christmas. I had to ask for it and put a note up the chimney for Santa Claus. I don't think that's what you're supposed to do. I don't think I believe in Santa Claus, but Mom and Dad want me to, so I write to him anyway. I wrote, Dear Santa Claus, if you are true, please can I have a flashlight? And if you are not true, then please can someone else get me one? I think it is important to keep your options open, because you never know what is the actual in truth these days.